feel like I've been gone for a month. Hadn't been quite that long. Just got back from an elk hunt in New Mexico. It was a very successful trip. 4 of us went, 4 of us got bulls, so that's good. My buddy almost didn't get one. He was the one that hadn't got one before, and he waited until about the last 30 seconds of the hunt to connect. So I'm really glad that we were able to get him one. So I'm picking up a freezer beef. I got a 3/4 share freezer beef from one of my neighbors in a couple of days. That's ready to pick up. And between that and the elk, I think we're gonna be good for meat for the next year. We'll still buy some pork and some chicken. I've raised chickens in the past. I don't know that I want to do that again. And pork, I don't know. I wouldn't mind having a feeder pig or two. Just bring more of our food consumption in the, somewhere that we know where it's coming from. So I'm trying to shift my mind back into bees. There's not a lot to do this time of year. It's mostly just food and making sure that mites are under control. So here in the next week or two, I'll get through all of my hives. I've got some I need to do another check on mite-wise, and some that need some fondant. I know I need to order some more fondant because they're going through it pretty quick. At this point in the season, they've pretty much quit taking syrup. The big colonies will still take syrup, but the little ones are just not messing with it. So I'm switching over to feeding them fondant if I think they're going to need it. And that's something to think about. If you think they're going to need it before February or before March, give it to them now. That way they can put it where they want to in the nest. They can get the moisture content where they still want it. We're 80 degrees today. Next week we've got a cold front coming in. It'll be in the 50s for highs. But bees can still move things around right now. They get those warm afternoons. They can move stuff around if they want to. Well, that's everybody's favorite high mite colony here. I think I'm a little late on pulling this formic off. I did put the foil underneath it to slow release because it was hot for a day or two after I put it in here. This colony's still alive. They've actually picked up a little bit of weight from the feed I've been giving them. They have propolized the formic pad pretty well. So I think I'll give them a shot of oxalic and see what their mite count looks like. See how this formic did. Munch, munch, munch. They really do like this fondant. I think the packaging is very smart. It's a good product. Really do like that. Need to buy a few more cases of it. These little singles, I think, are gonna need a lot of help to make it through winter. They've actually picked up a little bit of weight, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. It seems like they are picking up weight off of the fondant, so put the fondant on, I think they're picking up more weight than when I was giving them syrup. Interesting. Driving through the mountains of northeast Georgia. Just left Bob's place. He's a gentleman as always. Good friend and mentor. Had a good trip there, but I'm ready to be home. I've done a lot of traveling lately, and I'm not a traveling man. I'm a homebody. So I'm ready to get home to the kids and sleep in my own bed. Be good to be home for a while. I'm out checking my little nukes today. Using the weather that I've got. That one is small. But they're making a go of it. They're eating that fondant. In fact, I think I'll give them another half. November 14th, it's cool, overcast and windy. These are not thrilled about being worked today. I don't blame them. These little ones I'll just check periodically and make sure that they do have enough feed. Come on, bee, get out of the way. A little bit of insurance. I checked the other hives in this yard. All the big ones are heavy, except the one on the end, which I think was a nuke. So I actually did put a fondant patty on them preemptively. Just trying to nurse everything through that I can. I don't want to lose anything that is preventable. So this was a big, strong hive. I put a double screen over it and put a small nuke up here. Got into the small nuke today and it just wasn't viable. I think the queen's dead or gone. Just a handful of bees in there. So started pulling this off, and that's not what you want to see. This hive's either dead or way too small for the boxes I've got. Those wax moths are starting to pull in. Yeah, there's nothing here. They're robbed out. I'm gonna get this equipment cleaned up, stored. So they probably went queenless late season. I didn't catch it, and there's the result. Good thing is I haven't lost my comb. So ready to make splits in spring. That's another one down, 2 more down. Well, this is where I spend a lot of time this time of year. And just sitting here thinking about, boy, it's gonna be a long time before the bees are good again. You know, February, March, maybe if we get weather. Maple bloom is really the first time that we get happy bees. They've got something to work. So, long time until then. I'm just trying to keep them alive until we get there. So, tipping hives, putting on fondant where I can. Syrup feeding is pretty much over. I had a fella ask me some questions about my bottling setup. He's buying out an existing beekeeper who's retiring, and he's got a market. He's bottling a lot more honey than I am with a more inefficient system than I've got, it sounds like. And that sort of is daunting to me to even think about, because, you know, I bottle honey to live. I don't live to bottle honey. So if you get to where you're doing a lot of this with a relatively inefficient system like this, where you don't have pumps and bottling machines and all that, you really need to think about your touches and your time. And you pick a bottle up, fill it, you don't overfill it, you cap it, you label it, and it's going in a case. And how can I do this more efficiently? One of my hang-ups now is actually getting these cases off the floor, stacked and taped and I've got to get an ink stamp or something to put the SKU on there and my company name, so that when it goes in a warehouse, people know what it is. Thinking about getting a roller table or something where I can set these boxes on and roll them down, and have a stock where it'll be a little easier to work with them, or something along those lines. You really got to think about your touches and your time, and just work to get more efficient. So I got to see Bob Benny last week. That's always good. I learned something from him every time I see him. I had a good trip, a lot of travel though. I'm glad to be back home, and I'm just sitting at the bottling table here and got 3 orders to get filled, 3 wholesale orders to get filled. So things are going okay. They can always be better, but it's going okay right now. Well, guys, I appreciate you watching. I'll see you on the next one.